Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia. Let's talk books. Today I want to talk about my favorite middle grade and young adult books of 2020. This is actually going to be a small list, and so I'm not going to put them in any kind of order because they do encompass books that are in two different genres. The main reason why it made sense for me to put them in the video together was because these are kind of books for a different age group than the one I am in, but books that bring me a lot of joy, especially all of the middle grade that I will be talking about. So why don't we get right to it? This is a 5-book list, so it should be a shorter video. But the first book on my list is The First Rule of Punk by Celia Perez. This book I just knew I was gonna like when I heard people describing it. I particularly heard Priscilla over at Bookie Charm talk about it, and it's about a young girl whose parents, I think, are divorced, and her mom just got a job in a new city, and the girl's trying to figure out. Our main character is trying to figure out how to merge the punk culture that her dad has taught her about with her Mexicanness, with her status as like a second generation immigrant. And it's just, I love this book. It was so stinking cute, but I really really enjoyed this book. It's so much fun, and I highly recommend it. The next book on my list is Miss Meteor by Tehlor K. Mejia. Now, I did read the arc of this on NetGalley, and this book is about a pageant that takes place in a Texas town where the main characters are struggling with accepting their differences and celebrating their differences in a town in which difference is not always a good thing. And so you see them kind of struggling with that. There's queer representation of all kinds in this book. It's a super sweet book. One of the main characters is Latinx, and you have the exploration of family and how that can be a huge asset, but also presents its own problems when trying to deal with, growing up and figuring out who you are in the context of family, who you are in the context of town, and country, and just all of that mixed in. At the same time, it's about friendship and what it means when you lose touch with somebody that meant a lot to you, and how you reconnect with that person now that you might be a little bit different than you were when you first met and became friends. It's such an amazing book. I cannot say enough good things about it. It's young adult and just so beautifully written. I do not have enough great things to say about Miss Meteor. I really recommend it. The next book on my list is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is a book in verse. Elizabeth Acevedo has converted me into somebody who actually reads and enjoys verse, and I don't do as much of it as I probably should, but I just like anything Elizabeth Acevedo now writes, I'm going to purchase. Clap When You Land is the story of these two girls, one who lives in the Dominican Republic and one who lives in New York. They both live with their moms, and at the beginning they don't know that they have the same father. The father basically has two families. The plane he was on crashed, and everyone on board died, and now the two girls have to deal with what that death means to them individually, and then what it means to them to know that they have a sister and that their dad had another family. It's amazing. I really enjoyed the way Acevedo was able to write these two perspectives and really analyze both what it means to be Dominican in the Dominican Republic and what it means to be of Dominican descent in New York. It's a story that really came alive to me through the perspectives of these two teenage girls. It's a lot about what it means to be a girl in these cultures and the kind of dangers that some of that might present, and the privileges that can come with place and location. It's an amazing story, and if you haven't yet picked up Clap When You Land, please do so. Number 4 on my list here is Small Spaces by Katherine Arden. So this is a middle grade kind of horror book. It feels weird to say that because it somehow seems like those two genres should not mix, but they do. And actually, some of the scariest books I read in 2020 were actually middle grade books. There's something really unique about what authors do in the middle grade sphere, where they're not dumbing down themes for young adults. They're writing and completely appropriate for the age group, but I don't know, there's something about that setting that really makes things even more scary for me. And so Small Spaces is the story of this girl, and she is taking a field trip. The class is going on a field trip to this pumpkin patch thing, and weird things start happening, and she starts investigating it, and all of a sudden she is having to take control of what's happening, and it's really scary. And I made the mistake of reading this book at night, and I'm like, I know nothing's gonna happen to her, I know it's not, but oh my god, is this scary. It was just and then I ended up dreaming about scary things. It was really odd and really fulfilling of a read. I love when books can make me emotional beyond the physical act of reading, when that emotion lingers past, because it means that it evoked a really strong feeling in me. I really enjoy that, and Small Spaces definitely did that. This is a series, I believe, so my library just doesn't own all of them in ebook, and I haven't walked into a library yet, so I will eventually get to more of these books. The last on my list here is A Dash of Trouble by Mariano. Okay, this is a whole series too, we're following this young girl, the youngest in the family, who knows her family works in a bakery, but there are kind of funny things that they're not telling her. She knows the family's keeping secrets, and she's like, what's that all about? So she does what kids that age do, and she's like, well, let me go find out, and start poking at things and asking questions. And what she finds out is that she comes from a family of witches, of brujas, with powers. And she starts figuring out what hers are and how to take part in the family tradition. And at the same time, the family owns this bakery, and so there's a lot of discussion about bakery ingredients and the power of food and the importance of food within the Latinx family and the broader community. And this was just so amazing, and it made me so hungry for pan dulce. You don't even know. And I've been doing a really good job of quarantining ever since the pandemic started. So I don't go into stores anymore. And I was so tempted to walk into a Mexican bakery for some pan dulce because I was just craving it after reading this book. So something that I am really loving in middle grade, since I started reading it in the last couple of years, is the way that it can engage with very deep and important themes in a way that doesn't dumb down anything for kids and is still completely age appropriate. And I don't know if I'm making sense in the way I'm explaining this, but middle grade is doing something really special. Writers in the middle grade sphere are doing something really special. I'm so glad I've discovered, because these books have been bringing a lot of joy to my life. Young adult, one of the things young adult does really well is provide a diversity of characters and of settings and of options, and that I think rings through
threw in the books that I have found to be the best and included in the list here. So young adult is not always my favorite genre, but I found some really great things in it that I've loved in 2020, and I will continue looking and finding those books in 2021. So let me know what your favorite young adult and middle grade books are. I'm always happy to take more recommendations because clearly I need more middle grade books in my life. So please leave all your recommendations down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.